2025, a quiet morning in Benin City took a dramatic turn. A private exhibition at the Museum of West African Art, an event attended by international diplomats, donors, and cultural leaders, was violently disrupted. What should have been a celebration of arts and heritage became a disturbing display of lawlessness and state failure. The event began at about 8:30 a.m., with guests arriving at the museum grounds and being welcomed by staff and vendors. Everything remained peaceful and calm until about 2 hours later, when the tone of the event began to change. Video evidence reviewed by this investigation shows two SUV vehicles, similar in appearance to official government transport, arriving near the museum entrance. According to eyewitnesses, a group of men disembarked from these vehicles. Their actions, posture, and movement suggest coordination rather than spontaneity. Shortly after the first group arrives, they are joined by additional men approaching from various directions. The crowd begins chanting loudly in local dialects, drawing more attention and creating tension around the premises. Within minutes, their numbers rise significantly. What began as a small group quickly transforms into a larger, agitated crowd. As the crowd grows, some members move toward the museum's perimeter fencing. They breach and enter the premises. Now, despite the presence of police officers assigned to protect diplomatic guests, the intruders were allowed to walk straight into the museum premises. There is no visible attempt to block them, no warning issued. In several moments, officers appear to escort or walk alongside the group. This raises an essential question. Why did the police fail to act? As the confrontation intensified, the intruders forced their way into the museum building, the very place where the EU ambassador, the German ambassador, the French ambassador, and the Danish ambassador were gathered. According to multiple witnesses, the diplomats were effectively trapped, unable to exit safely as chaos unfolded. Once again, the police officers on site did not intervene. Independent review of the footage reveals identifiable figures. One man widely recognized as MOWAA appears prominently. In multiple clips, he is seen gesturing and leading the group. Another individual stands out, a man wearing a white cap with a symbol often associated with political allegiance. His presence raises further questions about the true motivations behind the intrusion. The group later claimed they were staging a peaceful protest. However, footage obtained independently contradicts that claim. Here, one individual is seen being beaten, shirt torn, and chased across the museum grounds. The attackers wield sticks. The victim struggles to escape.
Okay, here na Benin, land of blood. Here na land of blood. So our Abba, we don't use that to play. We fit do anything because of our life, and we don't put out for life because of our Abba. Anything we want to may happen. We will put our life because of our Abba.
All of this unfolds right in front of police officers who, for reasons best known to them, remained passive. Perhaps the most troubling moment occurs when the police commissioner arrives on site. Footage shows the CP entering the museum building escorted by MOWAA, the same individual seen leading the intruders. Inside, rather than ordering the dispersal of the group, the commissioner can be heard directing the immediate shutdown of the private exhibition.
I'm here because we have information that there's a protest going on outside. The museum it has come under some kind of controversy. They don't want this place to be commissioned, and they think that the activity that is going on there might be related to commissioning. So we need to convince them that what is going on is not commissioning, but the only way we can convince them that it is not commissioning is to stop the event.
The decision raises serious questions. On what basis was the event shut down? And why was no effort made to remove the intruders who had breached the premises? Even more unusual is footage showing Mr. MOWAA himself addressing the diplomats and guests within the museum. He's standing in front of foreign officials, issuing statements and effectively taking control of the situation, prompts a critical question. On what authority was he permitted to do so? The presence of a senior police official in the same room makes the moment even more striking. When the diplomats met with the governor of Edo State after the incident, he reportedly claimed he was unaware of their visit to the state.
What happened yesterday was, to me, I didn't understand because I wasn't even aware that such gathering would be taking place yesterday.
But a leaked, acknowledged letter from the Belgian ambassador addressed to the governor and Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs indicates otherwise. Furthermore, the police commissioner had already assigned officers to provide security for these diplomats on their visit. If the state was unaware, why was a security detail provided? This incident could not have come at a more delicate moment for Nigeria. The country is already contending with rising diplomatic tensions following recent remarks by US President Donald Trump, who publicly described Nigeria as a disgraced nation, threatened possible military action, and designated it a country of concern over alleged Christian killings and worsening security conditions. The events of November 9th, captured clearly on video, risk worsening the nation's diplomatic standing and undermining its reputation with international partners.
I must say that the experience that we had yesterday was quite unpleasant and deplorable because this private event on a private property was disrupted by so-called protesters who came in, allowed by the police, because there was security all around, but they left them in. And they disrupted the whole event.
The ambassador's words echo a sentiment shared by many, that what occurred at the Museum of West African Art was not merely an incident, but a failure, one that reflects deeper structural problems in security, governance, and accountability. In a meeting with the Minister for Arts and Culture, the governor said, and I quote, "Our duty is to protect Edo State and by extension Nigeria. There will be no hiding place for criminals in our land." This investigation raises urgent questions. 1. How did armed intruders gain access to a high-level diplomatic event? 2. Why did police officers fail to act? 3. What does this say about the state's ability or willingness to protect both citizens and foreign guests? And lastly, why is the Edo State government launching a criminal investigation against MOWAA while ignoring the attacks and breaches that occurred on the 9th? Until these questions are answered publicly and transparently, the shadow of November 9th will continue to hang over Edo State and Nigeria's international reputation.